Hey, good afternoon. Welcome to Daily Distinction. Just taking my final little swig of water for speakers. This will bring back memories. It is the glass from the cigar peg from 2018. So how about that? That's a good memory. But it's so inside. The PEG is Professional Emphasis Group, and the cigar peg is a fun professional emphasis group that meets at the National Speakers Association meetings. And you can guess what we do. We have a cigar and it's a bourbon. I don't smoke too many cigars, but I love hanging out with everybody. And I love hanging out with you. Thank you for being here. Whether you're watching on the replay or whether you're live, it's really great that you're here. Thank you for being a part of this today. Got a good topic. I think it is, how do we innovate to create distinction? What does it take to create distinction? How do we innovate to get there? And I'm going to suggest to you there are three questions that we need to ask. And as I was preparing this, it kind of struck me too that these are three questions we can ask about anything. Three questions we should ask about everything when it comes to the decisions that we have to make. So three critical questions. I promise you that I use and have helped me. And I want to share them with you because I really think they're going to help you. Hey, Brian, great to see you. Yep, on the way up to Titletown for a wedding. Good for you. Let's see. Titletown, you're going to Indy. No, I know where you're heading. Green Bay. All right. Good deal. Good to see you. Charles from Cool and Overcast, Silicon Valley. Cool and Overcast sounds good. I'm getting ready to send out some emails of a video I shot this morning sitting in the backyard. My first cup of coffee of the day. I shot at about 7 a.m. and man, it felt so perfect here. It was 60 some odd degrees in Las Vegas and really, really great. Ted, good to see you. Happy Thursday to you as well. Thank you for being a part of the Distinction Summit that's coming up. I'm really excited you're going to be there. Curtis, Lafayette, Louisiana. How's the weather? I hope you're doing all right. What's the forecast? You know, that's one of the crazy things about living here in the desert. It's one of the real big differences between this and my home in Indiana. Is that, man, the weather forecast you follow so intensely there. And, Scott, well, you know this. Oh, appreciate that, Scott. Thank you. And Scott, from where home is, you'd follow the weather forecast every day because it was going to change. It was going to be different. And I've said before, I think the easiest job in the world would be to be one of the meteorologists in Las Vegas, because basically you could say, remember today? All right, tomorrow's going to be just about like that. Now back to you. I think that would be the way that you could do weather on Las Vegas TV. Or when the summer is here, remember today? It's going to be a little hotter tomorrow. That's pretty much it. So when that happens, one of the things that occurs is you tend not to follow the weather as intensely as you do when you live somewhere where it changes all the time. And so I get the alerts, that'll come across the phone, and I see them, and I hear about the horrible weather. Janice, who's on here every once in a while in Houston, and Curtis, where you are in Lafayette, Louisiana today. It's I see some of the challenging weather that everybody's been facing. Hey, Donovan, great to see you. Looking for the childhood home. Well, you're in the wrong city. Larry grew up in Muskogee, Oklahoma, but lived for many, many years in Tulsa. So maybe you can find I think there's a Larry Winget Shrine there somewhere in Tulsa. I'm not sure, but Larry will be a part of our Distinction Summit event. So good luck with that. So, yeah, literally, that's Larry and I joke about this. It's so funny because John Mellencamp's song "Small Town," and it starts out, "I was born in a small town." That's literally the same town I was born in. Now, I grew up in Crothersville, a few miles south, smaller town. To us, Seymour, the town he sings about, was the big town. When you're from Crothersville, Seymour was the big town at that time. But it's funny because I was born in the same small town that John Mellencamp sings about, and Larry is literally an Okie from Muskogee. So pretty cool. Pretty cool. So I want to remind you before we get started on the topic, once again, in case you're just getting here or if you're watching on the replay, Distinction is coming up. I cannot believe if you are a VIP registrant for the Distinction Summit, and some of you are, it's a week from today that we get together for our virtual cocktail party to kick the thing off. Is that unbelievable? I've been talking about this for so long, and I can't believe it is a week from today that we're going to have a little virtual cocktail party to kind of kick it off. And then the Distinction Summit begins tomorrow. So if you haven't signed up, now is the time to do it. Stand out and earn more. The Distinction Summit next Friday, Saturday, and Sunday morning. Would love to have you join us. You can get $100 off your registration with the code DISTINCT2020. Can't wait to see you there. Hey, Jason Bradshaw is watching from Australia. Jason's going to be one of the folks that's contributing to the Distinction Summit. One of the things we're going to be talking about is you create distinction through the customer experience. And there's nobody better on the planet to talk about it. That's why we had to go all the way to Australia to find the guy to talk about it. It's Jason Bradshaw. So good morning to you, Jason, where it is, I keep the Sydney time on my watch, 6:06 a.m. Friday morning in Sydney. So glad you are here. Jerry, just eat a chicken fried steak with gravy, mashed potatoes, and pinto beans. Yeah, that sounds, sign me up for that, my friend. That sounds great. And you sent an email I saw for the first time last night, and the answer is yes. I'm honored, but I'll get back with you on that. We'll make that happen. So, all right. So we're going to talk today about, as I said, how do we innovate to create distinction? And one of the challenges that I've seen with so many is they think, boy, if we just tweak it, do something different, then we're really going to stand out. They'll do something different. And I know this has been written by other authors. I respectfully disagree. Different is not better than better. If I slap every customer in the face, as you've heard me say, I can slap every customer in the face and baby, I am different. But how many customers do you think are going to come back? And if you get something that's inferior, whether it's inferior service or an inferior product, yet they do something different, do you go, well, they screwed up servicing my car or they screwed up my order from the restaurant, but, the place is really different. It's okay. No, we want you to be better at what you do. So different alone is never good enough because you have to create differences that have meaning with customers and traction with customers. Just being different for difference sake is not going to work. So there are three questions that I really dwell on. And I want to share them with you because as you think about an innovation for your business, really as you think about any particular approach for your business, you can even think about the things you're already doing in your business. And these are three great tools to analyze. These three questions are tools to analyze where you are and what you should be doing. So here's the first one. Do they want it? Do they want it? Now, we could be talking about employees. This could even be a process for the people that work for and with you. Or they could be customers externally. Do they want it? Now, you might stop and say, well, wait a minute. You know what? If you're doing something innovative, how do you know if they're going to want it or not? Well, that's part of what you have to evaluate. It's an oft-told story. You've heard me tell it here before probably, but Steve Jobs said the reason they developed the iPhone is because everybody there hated their phone. Now, if you went to somebody and said, hey, we've got this slab and you're going to press on it, and they'd go, no, give me the keyboard like my BlackBerry, like my Nokia. So you wouldn't have known that customers wanted it based upon their current level of knowledge. But what they did know is they hated their phones and customers wanted better because they were customers. They knew, right? So it's not just do they want it now, right? The old Henry Ford line, if I'd asked customers what they wanted, they'd said faster horses. But that quote that's used so much ignores him understanding that people would want it once they experienced it. We wanted the iPhone once we saw people experiencing it. They wanted the automobile, the horseless carriage after they experienced it. So it's do they want it? Do they want the improvement that we're talking about? Do they want this advancement that is so critical and so important? Do they want it? So that's question number one. Do they want it? Will they want it? Charles, they don't know they want it, but the addendum to that that's often overlooked, Charles, is because they haven't experienced it yet. It's not that they didn't know that they wanted it. It was that they didn't know they wanted it because they hadn't experienced it yet. And his confidence in the fact that, boy, once they see this, I mean, that's a theme that ran through his life, obviously. I mean, the personal computer, people, it never dawned on people that the personal computer, that the computer could be personal until the two Steves did it in a garage, right? So that becomes part of the challenge. Do they want it? Jerry says often the customer doesn't want to undergo the pain that's required to deliver to them the thing that they want. And that brings up the second question, Jerry, you're right, is not only do they want it, but then question number two is, can we do it? Look, I might not like my computer keyboard, but that's not something we do. So I'm going to be a customer and look for other alternatives. That's not something we should do. So are we the ones that's going to make it so compelling, to Jerry's point, that customers will go through that pain to get this, or will go through that adoption process, or will go through or make the investment or purchase the product? Can we be the ones that do it, that make it that way? Can we do it? Now, this calls for some honest reflection. This calls for some honest analyzation. Now, here's the thing. And it's such an old example, but it's the one that comes to mind, right? The answer might be, we can't do it right now, but we can in the future. When John Kennedy, this is the old example, said, in 1961, we're going to put a man on the moon by the end of the decade. Now, stop and think about that for a minute. Before the end of the decade, in 9 years, we're going to put a person on the moon. The moon. I mean, think about all of human history. I mean, the moon that you look at and that I look at night is the same moon in the same sky that Jesus looked at, that Julius Caesar looked at, that Buddha looked at. It's the same. So for thousands of years, here we are on Earth, and Kennedy says in 9 years, we're going to put a person on it and bring them home safely. Whew. So the answer to number two is, can we do it? And it's yes, but not right now. We have to gear up to be able to do it. And that's an important question. You have to analyze your ability and be honest about it, and be honest about your capacity, not only your current ability, but your capacity is a part of this as well. Most powerful lesson from Steve Jobs is people don't know what they want until you show it to them, right? Once we saw it, Brian, we had to have it, right? A lot of people forget, when Steve Jobs was introducing the iPhone, he was doing projections based on them capturing 1% market share. That's part of why the iPhone just overwhelmed everything at Apple, because initial projections were based on capturing 1% of the marketplace. Whew. Did a lot better than that. And it had, and no one anticipated the halo effect. And once you got an iPhone and you liked it so much, then you wanted to try a Mac. You wanted to try a PowerBook. So that's what can happen too. So, Jobs was basically, can we do it? Yeah, with our creativity and our science and our engineers, yes, we can do it. So the first question is, do they want it? Maybe that should be better expressed. Will they want it if we show it to them? Two, can we do it? Now here's the third one. Should we do it? Just because they want it, and just because we have the capacity to do it, doesn't mean we should. If doing it means we have to take our eye off of another critical mission, then maybe the answer is no. If it means we have to put all of our chips on the table in a very risky endeavor and risk the survival of our business to do so, hey, I'm not saying the answer is always no, but it's something that should be considered. Should we do it? And what we often find is there are times that we've seen organizations say yes when they should have said no. And there's a heck of a lot of times that organizations said no when they should have said yes. If you've read the book Iconic, you know my first story in the book Iconic is about Nokia and how Microsoft was purchasing Nokia after Nokia had gone into the toilet. And the CEO of Nokia at the press conference announcing the purchase by Microsoft, and people that had grown up in Nokia, and it was the legacy business of their country, their home country. And people are crying, and and the CEO in tears said, "We didn't do anything wrong." Well, yeah, you did. You did. Because an easier phone was something that customers wanted and that you had the ability to do because you were in phones 24/7. At that time, Apple's biggest business was making computers. So you had better ability than they did to some degree to do it, but you decided that you shouldn't because, hey, people keep buying this crap we're putting out. Why would we do it? They answered no to a question that should have said yes. Yes. Jason, may I suggest a key ingredient is making an intentional habit to be better every day? Yes. How? Mic drop. Yeah, make an intentional habit to be better every day. Jason, today on my walk, I was listening to a terrific book. I bet it's one that you've seen called The Compound Effect by Darren Hardy. And, I've listened to it before. I pulled it back out to listen to it again. And he's just talking about keeping a journal on everything you do. And my friend JJ Virgin, that's what she said as she started me on this health, I want to say health kick, but it's really lifestyle adjustment, is that you have to keep a record of everything you do, everything that goes in your mouth, every step you take. I want to, sleep. I want to list it. And I didn't. It's just a pain in the butt. I didn't want to do it. And I look back now and it is absolutely one of the keys to any success. And it's exactly what you're saying, Jason. I could not agree more. It's such a powerful comment you make. It's making that intentional habit a little bit better every day. It's that incremental growth that makes such a compelling and powerful difference. Hey, Weldon, better late than never. Really glad that you're here. Thank you. Hey, Susan, so good to see you from the United Kingdom. What great questions and an energizing way to end a busy day. Ponder overnight. Yes, what a world we live in, Susan. Is this incredible? I'm sitting here at noontime in Las Vegas, and there it is. You're watching in the United Kingdom at 8 p.m., and Jason is watching in Sydney at 6 a.m. tomorrow, his time. What a world we live in. Yeah, Darren Hardy is fantastic, Brian. I've only met him a couple times. He interviewed me for Success Magazine one time, and then talked to him another time, and just really a terrific leader. So if you're just checking in, let's review the 3 questions. Number 1 is, do they want it? You can adapt that to, will they want it once they see it? But even when it comes to employee perks and benefits, will they want it? Is this something that will really add meaning, or are there other better ways that we could spend our money to enhance the engagement of our employees? Do they really want this? Secondly, can we do it? Do we have the bandwidth? Do we have the capacity? Do we have the ability to grow to the point that we can deliver it? If we're not delivering it now, there must be a reason. So since we're not delivering it now, what can we do to deliver it in the future? So can we do it? And then the big question is, should we do it? Is it worth our time and our talent and our investment? to make it happen. Those are the three. And there you go. Brian, it's not being content or stagnant. And that's why I suggested at the beginning, these are questions we need to continually ask ourselves. This continues to help us not get complacent with where we are. So if they do our will wanted, and if we can do it, and if we should do it because of what it means to customers in our company, then it's time to get with it and do it distinctively. Please remember, Nike never says, just think about it. What's Nike's line? Just do it. So make certain that you go through these steps of consideration, right? We don't want to be ready, fire, aim. It's got to get things out of order. But what we do want to do is to bring additional value and continue to expand. Remember, iconic organizations and iconic individuals accelerate their promise as they advance their performance. They accelerate the promise to the marketplace, but likewise, they're advancing their delivery, they're advancing their performance. And when you can do both of those, that's when you can truly be distinctive. That's when you get to the range of being iconic. Well, hey, thanks so much for being here today. I really, really appreciate it. It's always great having you for Daily Distinction. Please, please, please check out distinctionsummit.com to remember you can get $100 off your registration when you use the code DISTINCT2020. The VIP group meets a week from tonight. The program kicks off a week from tomorrow. By the way, no Daily Distinction next next Friday, Saturday, Sunday, because we'll be doing the Distinction Summit. We'll have some more announcements about that coming up. But would love to have you there. Just go to distinctionsummit.com. Use the coupon code less than $100 to attend the 2.5-day program at general admission. So hope to see you there. And thank you for being here. I'll see you tomorrow on the next Daily Distinction. Thanks for watching. See you soon.